He was just 20 years old when he became king of Macedonia. By the age of 30, he had created one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece to Egypt and all the way to India. Alexander the Great wasn't just a conqueror, he was a visionary, a military genius, and a man who reshaped the ancient world forever. In this video, we'll uncover how Alexander rose to power, how he defeated mighty empires, and how, in less than a decade, he carved out a kingdom that changed history. Early life and rise to power. Alexander was born in 356 BC in Pella, the capital of Macedonia. His father, Philip II, had already built Macedonia into a strong kingdom. His mother, Olympias, instilled in him a belief that he was destined for greatness. Tutored by none other than Aristotle, Alexander grew up with a love for philosophy, science, and history. But he also trained as a warrior and strategist under his father. When Philip was assassinated in 336 BC, 20-year-old Alexander inherited the throne. Many thought the young king would fail, but Alexander immediately crushed the rebellions in Greece and secured his rule. His journey of conquest had begun. The Persian Empire, the ultimate enemy. At the time, the greatest power in the world was the Persian Empire, ruled by King Darius III. Alexander set his sights on defeating Persia. In 334 BC, he crossed into Asia Minor with about 40,000 men, a small force compared to Persia's millions. But Alexander had speed, discipline, and unmatched tactics. His first major test came at the Battle of Granicus. Against overwhelming odds, Alexander personally led a cavalry charge across a river, scattering the Persian army. It was the beginning of his legendary campaign. The Battle of Issus, 333 BC. 1 year later, Alexander faced Darius himself at the Battle of Issus. Though outnumbered, Alexander used clever tactics to trap the Persians between mountains and the sea. Leading his cavalry in a wedge formation, he struck directly at Darius. The Persian king panicked and fled, leaving his army to be slaughtered. Alexander's victory was decisive, and it sent shockwaves across the ancient world. Conquest of Egypt. After defeating Darius, Alexander marched south into Egypt. The Egyptians, wary of Persian rule, welcomed him as a liberator. In 332 BC, Alexander entered Memphis and was crowned pharaoh. He founded the city of Alexandria, which would later become one of the greatest centers of learning and culture in the world. He also visited the Oracle of Amun at Siwa Oasis, where priests declared him the son of Zeus. For Alexander, this confirmed his divine destiny. The Battle of Gaugamela, 331 BC. In 331 BC, Alexander faced Darius again at Gaugamela, in modern-day Iraq. This time, Darius brought one of the largest armies ever assembled, perhaps over 200,000 men with war elephants and scythed chariots. Alexander's army was vastly outnumbered, but he used brilliant tactics. He lured the Persians to overextend, then led a cavalry wedge directly at Darius. Once again, Darius fled the battlefield. The Persian army collapsed, and Alexander captured Babylon, Susa, and Persepolis, the great capitals of Persia. The Persian Empire was no more. Alexander was now the ruler of the largest empire the world had ever seen. March into India. With Persia defeated, Alexander pushed even further east. In 326 BC, he crossed into India facing new enemies, new climates, and new challenges. At the Battle of Hydaspes, he fought King Porus, who brought war elephants into battle. For the first time, Alexander's men faced these towering beasts. But through discipline and clever maneuvering, the Macedonians prevailed. Impressed by Porus's bravery, Alexander allowed him to remain king as his ally. Yet, his soldiers grew wary. After years of endless campaigning, they refused to march further into India. Reluctantly, Alexander turns back. Death of Alexander. By 323 BC, Alexander returned to Babylon. He was just 32 years old, but he had conquered much of the known world. That same year, he fell suddenly ill and died. The exact cause remains a mystery. Was it poisoning, disease, or exhaustion from years of campaigning? His empire, stretching from Greece to India, had no clear heir. His generals, known as the Didachi, would fight for control, and the empire soon fragmented. Alexander's legacy. Though his empire did not last, Alexander's legacy was enormous. He spread Greek culture, language, and ideas across 3 continents. The Hellenistic Age that followed saw a blending of Greek, Egyptian, Persian, and Indian cultures, shaping art, science, and philosophy for centuries. Cities like Alexandria became centers of knowledge, housing the famous Library of Alexandria. Alexander's story is one of ambition, brilliance, and tragedy. In just over a decade, he conquered the known world, leaving behind a legacy that would inspire emperors, generals, and leaders for thousands of years. Alexander the Great died young, but his legend has lived on for more than 2 millennia.